Hey, so welcome to my channel. My name is Ken and I am on a journey to lose as much weight as I possibly can so I can become a fat guy no more. So week 13, the start of month 4, began on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving for me wasn't too bad at all. We cooked at home. I put everything in that I had into MyFitnessPal and everything went good. So no complaints there at all. So the Monday of that week, I had to go see a specialist about my wrist. I've been having a lot of pain in both of my wrists. My right wrist, probably for the last almost 2 years now. The left one started mid to late September. Got x-rays done. Both of them show cysts in them. Say that time. Yeah, see, I can't even do it. Say that 10 times fast. Cysts in my wrist. Cysts in my wrist. Yeah, not going to continue that. But I had to get it looked at by a hand specialist. And what she told me is we need to do shots. I asked her if it could be Patron. She didn't laugh. I did. But she proceeded to shove a needle into my wrist and put in some steroids. We had had the discussion about being on Mounjaro and how well I had been doing and what it would mean for me to have steroids in. And she felt that doing the shot shouldn't affect me at all and that it would be much better than taking an oral steroid. So the only thing I could really do at that point was listen to the doc and hope she's right? I mean, she's the specialist. So I got that shot, and as I left there, I barely made it to the elevator on her floor, and I started to have a really big panic attack. I mean, really big. I got in the elevator. There was another gentleman that came in with me. And we had our masks on because we're at a medical facility. And by the time we were to the second floor, headed down, I was gasping for air. I was holding onto the wall, gasping for air, and I couldn't catch my breath. And all I wanted to do was to tell him to get help, and I just couldn't do it. It was that bad. Yet when we got to the first floor, I started to feel a little better. And as I walked out of the elevator, there was some cool air coming from the front door, and I started feeling even a little more better, more better. So I walked outside and I sat there for a little bit, taking some deep breaths, and I did okay. I was still quite dizzy, but I was okay. So then I started my walk to my car, which was quite a ways out in the parking lot, which, by the way, is a non-scale victory. The fact that I would park that far away and walk in, that wasn't lost on me, even though I was going through what I was going through. I sat in the car for a while, texting with my wife, letting her, who just texted me, texted with my wife and let her know what was going on, that I was probably going to be a while. And I sat there, just relaxing for a little bit, taking some deep breaths, and then I was fine. I don't honestly know if it was the shot that did it. I don't know what it was. I didn't have anything to eat that morning before I went. It was a 9 a.m. appointment. I didn't even take a protein shake with me. I didn't take anything with me. So as I left there, I went by Sonic and got me a diet cherry limeade just to have some fluid. And I pretty much drank that sucker before I got home. When I got home, I had a 42-gram protein shake, and I started feeling better, but it still freaked me out quite a bit. So as that week proceeded, I started feeling better, enough so that I actually went to Starbucks for my first time in a long time. 14 years ago, on December 1st, I went to Starbucks for the last time for my mom. She passed away early the next morning. So every year that I can, that I've been in the country, one of those I was in France, so I couldn't do it. So I went as soon as I got back. But every year except that, I've gone to Starbucks and got a caramel frappuccino in her memory. This year was a little bit different. Instead of getting a venti, I got a grande. And I'll be lucky if I was able to drink a fourth of it, maybe. And that was with my wife actually having a sip. It was just god awful sweet, and I just couldn't do it. So instead of forcing myself to do it, I threw it away, which, it's the whole irony of it, would have pissed my mom off for wasting money. But I did it anyways because I didn't need the extra calories, all that sugar, but I wanted to keep that tradition alive. That night I decided to go out and have a little bit of fun. That was the 33rd anniversary of the release of Christmas Vacation from National Lampoon's, and it was showing at a local theater, so I decided to go. I haven't been to a movie at a theater in just over 4 years. I've had issues with being able to walk into them, to be honest with you, but this one was at a theater, so I felt I should be okay. There should be an outdoor entrance, and I should be able to walk into it pretty easy. And I was wrong. I was horribly wrong. As it turns out, it's like basically in the middle of the theater on the second floor. So I had to walk in, over to the elevator, up to the second floor, and then all the way back to where the theater was. And I don't know how far a walk it was, but I can tell you this much. At that point, that's the longest walk I've done without sitting down in a long, long time. And when I got to my seat, after buying a bottle of water at the concession stand, I felt quite accomplished. And it was exciting to me. And I couldn't wait to walk back out just to get back out to the car and realize that I did it not only once, but I did it twice. And I've said it before, and if you've watched any of these videos, you'll know. Once I got out there, that sense of accomplishment hit me, and I started to cry. I really did. It's one of the dumbest things probably, but to me, these things that I haven't been able to do in so long, to be able to do them just overwhelms me at times, and crying's my outlet. So that week, my daily averages was 1,180 calories, 98 grams of protein, 34 grams of fiber, and 1,110 milligrams of sodium. If you remember from my previous video, in week 12, I went down nothing. I stayed even. After having 3 really good weeks of dropping 8 pounds, 6 pounds, and 3 pounds. This week, it went down 7. Those 7 pounds gave me a total loss of 75 pounds since I started Mounjaro on September 2nd, and a total of 110 pounds lost for 2022. So week 14. Week 14, week 14 was great. I knew I had a busy month ahead, and I knew I was going to have a lot going on in the month of December in general. And so I was really looking forward to it. So that Saturday, December 3rd, my wife and I took off and we drove about an hour south of where we live in Oklahoma City to see the leg lamp. All right, so most everybody watching this has got to have watched A Christmas Story, right? 24 hours of it, Christmas Eve into Christmas Day on TBS. In the town of Chickasha, where evidently the guy who designed it for the movie, where he used to live, they built this big statue of it, put it in a little park, and at night they light it up with all sorts of different colors. So we decided to drive down and check it out. It was cold. It was very cold. I had a sweatshirt on. I actually think it might have been my snowman one I'm wearing right now. And we checked out the town, went to their Festival of Light, I think it's called. Drove through it, and we checked out the leg lamp. It was a great time. A little over an hour drive just to do that, but it was totally worth it. And the fact that I was able to get out and walk around some and do it. Now, I did have my cane with me, but I was still able to do it. Just meant that I could have even more fun than I normally would, because typically in the past, we would have driven by it. I would have taken a picture out the car window and called it good. But this year, I actually went and walked around and took Took pictures of a few people as they were standing there. Somebody took pictures of us. It was fun. So that Monday, I had my appointment with my primary care physician. Back the end of August, when we talked about Mounjaro and she first prescribed it for me, I told her I'd give her 3 months and we would go from there. 3 months to see if this thing works, to see it, whatever it would do. Because to me, nothing really has worked. And so I told her I wanted to give her 3 months so I would give it the honest try and we could see if it's doing anything at all. So that was that Monday. At that appointment, I was down 77 pounds with Mounjaro. And this time I wasn't the one crying, she was. She had tears in her eyes as she told me, this just proves you've needed a GLP-1. I've mentioned it in the past. I don't understand the science side of it. I know what it's supposed to do for you. I don't know how it does it. I just know that it does. And so she reiterated again before I left that it's that GLP-1 that I've needed, that hormone, whatever that is. And I couldn't argue with her on it. As I left her office, I was smiling ear to ear. I felt great. I don't believe I've ever left a doctor's office feeling that good before. So I decided I was going to play tourist in my own hometown here. We haven't been in town quite a year yet. And so I went into downtown Oklahoma City, jumped on the streetcar, and I decided to ride it around checking things out just to see where it goes, what's down there, and just have some fun, kill a couple hours or so. It was a real good time. I'm glad I did it, especially that day because the weather was spectacular. Since it had been a couple weeks, I decided to go back to the closet to see if anything would fit that hadn't before. And there was some things that are getting close, but not quite yet. But I'm a little antsy, so that's why I keep trying. I'm really excited about a few of the clothes that I have that I'll be able to wear pretty soon. And as long as I keep making progress like this, and I think I will. So that week I averaged 1,344 calories, 114 grams of protein, 36 grams of fiber, and a whopping 1,625 milligrams of sodium. The sodium was up because when we went to Chickasha to see the leg lamp, my wife stopped by Arby's and I had a few fries and a couple jalapeno cheddar poppers. Totally not worried about it. As it ended up, that week on the scale, I went down 5 pounds. 5 pounds gave me a grand total of 80 pounds lost on Mounjaro and 115 pounds lost overall. So week 15 started off with a bang. December 9th, my bestie and I, who by the way also just moved down here recently from Washington, we had tickets to go see Luke Combs at the Paycom Center in Oklahoma City. I was kind of worried about the walk. Didn't know what to expect. Had never been there. Didn't know what the layout was, anything like that. And so just took our time. We parked where I like to park at, and then we rode the streetcar up to the arena, walked across, went in, and then from the elevator up to the upper level to my seat was a pretty good walk. I mean, for me it was. But we did that whole walk and all the way to the seat without me having to stop or sit down or anything. I was a little tired, but I felt accomplished and a little excited that I was able to do it just straight through. The concert was amazing. It was, I don't know, if you've never seen Luke Combs, if you're a country music fan, you need to go see this guy. The energy was spectacular. The only thing I can really compare it to is Garth Brooks. I've seen Garth 19 times live now. We went and seen him in Dallas back in July. And he's amazing, as any of you that are fans know. But the energy that Luke Combs brings to the stage is pretty comparable to that of Garth, and it was amazing. After the concert, as we left, we walked out, and as we got out in front of the arena, I did sit down for just a few moments, which that felt great because it was much cooler. A big storm had just rolled through and really dropped our temperature. That night was so much fun that I was so excited that I had tickets to do it again the next night. This time I was by myself, sitting in a different section, but the results were the same. I parked in the same spot, rode the streetcar, and then walked into my seat. And then as I left, I walked back out, got on the streetcar, and the only problem with that was there was an incident just up the streetcar line, which closed the streetcars down, and I was stranded a little over a mile from my car. So my wife came and got me because there's no way I could have walked that. Yeah, I'm one of those crusty old guys that doesn't use Uber. So that taught me a lesson. I'm going to have to get that app and be ready for that next time. But the walking is what excited me. I had more steps in those 2 days than any 2 days alone this year. Now my steps compared to most everybody else's is nothing. But for me, it was great. So that week's totals, I had 1,309 calories a day, 111 grams of protein, 36 grams of fiber, and 1,522 milligrams of sodium. And what that did for me on the scale that week is I went down 1 pound. Just one. But that put me at 81 pounds lost with Mounjaro and 116 pounds overall. So week 16 was amazing. I had so much fun that week. So that Friday night, I started off by going and seeing Nikki Glazer do some stand-up at a theater in Oklahoma City called The Criterion. That Saturday night, my wife and I went out looking at Christmas lights. There is a house just under 2 miles from us here that has an amazing computerized light show. They were actually on the Great Christmas Light Fight a few seasons ago. It's absolutely fantastic, and I'll show you just a little bit right here. After we left there, we drove out west a little ways, about 25 minutes or so, to a town called Yukon to see their, what's it called, Christmas lights in the park or something like that. It's about a 4-mile drive looping through their big park out there. It's just filled with a ton of Christmas lights. That Sunday, I went to the Bricktown Comedy Club and saw Jason Mewes, as in Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. Saw him do stand-up. The next night, my wife and I went back into downtown Oklahoma City, and she took me to my first NBA basketball game where we went and seen the Oklahoma City Blunder take on the Portland Trailblazers. That, I have to admit, was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. It was a little tough for me to go see them because, as I like to refer to the Blunder, as the Stolen Sonics. The Sonics were my team growing up. So it was a little tough, but I will admit I had a good time. And it was weird that my first ever NBA game was in Oklahoma City with the Stolen Sonics. But man, that was fun. I mean, just a load of fun. That Tuesday and Wednesday, I ran a bunch of errands again. Just before the storm came in, that dropped our temperatures down to negative 22 degrees with the wind chill. And I know that wasn't as bad as other places, but that's the worst I've seen in a long time. Thursday, I took my wife to Costco. We did Costco. And so again, every day something was going on. So my averages for the week were 1,257 calories, 99 grams of protein, 35 grams of fiber, and my sodium was just insane, but it was 2,937. But I went down 7 pounds. I don't get it. I absolutely don't get it. I don't understand the body at times. Weeks that I felt were really good, I've lost 1 or stayed the same even. Weeks like this that weren't too good and that I could see myself retaining a lot of fluid because of the sodium being high, and I dropped 7 pounds. So through the first 4 months of being on Mounjaro, I am still on 10 milligram shots currently. But that put me at losing 88 pounds in those 4 months, 16 weeks, a grand total of 123 pounds overall since January 10th of 2022. So that sums up month 4, which now catches me up. We are current because week 16 ended on December 23rd. So going forward, I'm hoping to do weekly videos of how my weeks went, with a few other things thrown in from time to time. I thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead. Don't forget to drop me a comment down below. I love interacting with people, talking about weight loss, hearing how y'all's journeys are going as well, answering lots of questions. It's always fun to me, so I look forward to any comments you guys will drop. Anyways, thanks for watching again. I appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to follow me on my journey to become a fat guy no more, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell so you can get notifications every time I upload a new video.